Hmm. So we are gonna try this again. Oof, that was really stupid and fun. I have got a story for you guys. I I'm using a new streaming software because I didn't really like the quality of the video and the audio when I was just going live straight through the webcam in YouTube, right? So I had this set up. I'm going through StreamYard and I had the whole thing set up and I had a couple of private broadcasts because I was just testing it to see if it actually worked. And so I went and actually started the live stream. And I got like 15 minutes in. I started it like at 1 o'clock, and I was like talking about everything and everything that I wanted this to be. And then I was looking, and I only saw that there weren't anybody in the chat, and so I was like, oh, I wonder, maybe, I don't know if this is a really bad time for everyone. But then I looked, and I had it on private. I was just literally on a live stream by myself, just because I never changed the setting from private to public. And so it never went public. And whew, that was fun. So, well, at least I got some practice out of it. So, like I said at the beginning, I'm trying something totally new. I'm streaming through like StreamYard, which is just. Anyway, how was your morning? I spent 20 minutes talking to myself because I didn't figure out my stream correctly. Oof, let's see. Oh, I see some people. Hi, Joanna. Hi, Kelly. Oh, see, now I know it's working. There are people here. Oh, God. So, let me just rehash everything. I had notes for this too and everything. So, first of all, thank you to everyone who looked at my community tab post and like voted, because I really wanted to go live and like talk about certain things, but I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, so I know a lot of people are going to be busy. I personally do not have a horse in the race because the Giants did not do well this season, and my boy retired. Oh, my boy. Eli Manning is my boy. I don't have him here, but I have a little teddy bear that's Eli Manning Jr. that I got at Build-A-Bear a while ago. And I had a cute picture. Check out my Instagram. I did a cute retirement picture for him because my boy retired. So with that being said, I'm not really going to watch the Super Bowl or the halftime show. I'm only really invested in football when the Giants are doing well. So, I mean, yeah, the past few seasons have not been great, but we deal with it. Hello, Amy. Yay. I'm so glad people are actually here. If you missed it, Amy, I literally spent the first 20 minutes of like my previous stream talking to no one because I messed up the settings. So let's go ahead and talk about what I wanted to like make these streams. So if you noticed, this is called the Bochinche Chat. So my family is Puerto Rican. My Spanish is terrible. So if you try speaking to me in Spanish, it's not gonna, I'll go to Google Translate. Like, I speak more Japanese than I speak Spanish. So Bochinche just means like gossip, or yeah, it's like gossip. I think if you look up the actual definition, it means specifically malicious gossip. But the way that we use it, like in my family, it just means gossip or like scandal, like scandals and stuff like that. So that's what this is. And what I wanted to do is live stream more, because so many people love the live stream. So many people just love connecting here, and I love connecting here too. And I want to do them more often. I don't want to have a schedule because I don't know how well I'm going to keep to a streaming schedule on top of my 3 videos a week. I don't want to commit to that, but I want to do these more often, and I wanted them to kind of have a theme. And the theme is basically things that don't fit in with my other videos. So if you look at the title of this live stream, it's MCR, Makeup Geek, and Marlena Stell, and then the KVD renaming thing. So what I wanted to do was basically have a space or an outlet to talk about, drama, maybe just rant about what's going on in my life, which is what the My Chemical Romance section is going to be about. Do I have a rant about... I went through the whole trying to buy tickets, and I'm from, or not from, but I live close to their hometown. So trying to get tickets for their hometown show, it was horrible. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But the whole point of this is to just basically have a space where I can come out and maybe not just talk about specifically makeup. We still have makeup topics here, but they might not be 100% makeup related. And so I thought, why not just call them the Bochinche Chats? And I just try to go live a bit more often. I thought it'd be fun. And I'm trying to get better at live streaming because, as you can tell, I suck at it. So let's see. Amy said, I only watch Super Bowl when I'm at a party. Yeah, honestly, Super Bowl parties, even if I'm not involved with either team, they're pretty cool. Like, you can get into the football. There's awesome food. I love chicken wings. Like, you can really get into them there. I'm not going to a party this year. I don't know anyone who's really going to a party. Well, because we're in New Jersey, so both of our teams weren't really that great. And Amy's been doing a lot of live streams too. Yeah, honestly, I want to get into the habit of doing that, get like a better setup because they're a bit quicker, they're easier, and they're fun to like actually like talk to you guys. And I just want to do them more often. Before we jump in, I'm actually wearing, I don't know how great the lighting is. I did set up my full studio lighting for last live stream and I looked weird. So here I just have my ring light. So I'm trying to test out some things. Maybe next time I'll have more lighting. But for this one, I just have my ring light and the foundation that I'm actually wearing today. I finally went and got shade matched at MAC. Because if you've been around my channel for a bit, you'll know that a lot of my foundations are too dark for me. I used to be an NC 25 in MAC. And I got matched, I think it was like about a year ago. That's when I used to go outside. You gotta know, if I'm Spanish, so when I go outside, I tan at the drop of a hat. I have a tan line from where like my cardigan comes down my arm. Like to here is like tanner, because that just shows when I'm walking to work. And I walk like not even a mile, and that tans. I have a Tom's tan on my feet where I wear the Tom's shoes, you know, they only come up halfway on your foot. So my foot looks like a Neapolitan ice cream because half of it is tan, half of it is pale as hell. So I used to tan, I used to be darker, and that's the last time I got shade matched. So I went into MAC yesterday and I got shade matched. And I'm like looking around, I put it on, I went out to natural light, I looked in the bathroom. It's not perfect, but it's definitely better. I can definitely go out like in public looking like this without mixing the foundation. And I'm now an NW13 when I used to be an NC25. Now, the NW and the NC always confuses me because doesn't the NW, like, I thought it would stand for warm, but does it not stand for warm? I heard that it's like backwards, like NC is actually warm and NW is cool. I'm not the most well-versed in that. So anyway, I went from NC 25 to an NW 13. So I'm glad I finally got shade matched. I keep my shade match, closest shade match in the description box of all my videos. So I don't want to just mass change that because there are like the earlier videos a year ago, I was closer to an NC 25. So I don't want to change that, but I need to go back through. I'll have to find time and change my shade match where I'm lighter because I am definitely closer to an NW 13. So finally got around to doing that. Joanna said, I'm from Costa Rica, and here in the U.S., people always confuse CR with PR. I love San Juan and Ponce in Puerto Rico, by the way. So my family's all Puerto Rican. I've literally actually never been to Puerto Rico. That's a pretty common thing for people born in the mainland for that. I've got all my family, I think most of them, they're either in San Juan or they're in Salinas. Funny story. So quick sidebar, I'll go on. I used to live in New Mexico. So my dad's in the military. I grew up all over the place. We moved a lot. I spent a lot of time in New Mexico, and then we moved from New Mexico to North Carolina. When I moved to North Carolina, I think I was in middle school. So I had to explain to all the kids in my class that I was from New Mexico. And because I looked very Spanish, everyone just like, oh, you're from Mexico. I'm like, no, it's New Mexico, Albuquerque. It's a state and a city. I don't know if that's a testament to our education system or the state or where I was, but nobody thought that New Mexico was a state. And they thought I was just from Mexico. So fun. We need to teach geography better. That's not an American thing. Amy says I'm an N4 or 5. I actually think like I could go to like an NW10. Because it is a little darker, but it does match my neck and my chest pretty well. So I probably could go like a slightly up or slightly down to an NW10. I might pick something up later on, but this is definitely better than what I've had previously. It's much better. All right, let's jump into I actually wrote notes for this. My first thing I want to rant about is My Chemical Romance and their tickets. If you're already a fan of My Chemical Romance, then you know everything I'm about to rant about. On the replay, hello, I forgot to say hello to everyone watching on the replay, but hello, I will do my best to come back and do timestamps so that you don't have to watch the whole live stream if you don't want to. So, My Chemical Romance. If you're already a fan, you know the story. If you're not, I think, are they technically a rock or an alternative band? I gotta look up the wiki. But they were a band that was in the early to mid 2000s, and they were at the height of like the emo culture, you know, back when it was like My Chemical Romance and Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco, like all of those. I was a huge fan. I loved My Chemical Romance. They were like one of my top 3 bands easily. It was like Linkin Park, My Chemical Romance, and then tied for third was like Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco. Like, that was it. So fans were so disappointed when I think it was 2013, they broke up. So they broke up as a band. They all went their separate ways, and all of us were left heartbroken. So come late 2019, they announced that they're not only getting back together, not only are they doing new music, they're going on tour. And at first, I think they only announced shows in like LA and like the UK. I think they did London and then Australia. And then they had this huge announcement that they were going on a North America tour. North America tour. So that was announced, I think, a week before tickets went on sale. Tickets went on sale January 31st, so this past Friday. And did I want those tickets? I didn't mention this before, but My Chemical Romance, they're also all from New Jersey. They apparently, according to the wiki, they got together and founded the band in Newark back in 2001 or 2003. And I live 10 minutes from Newark. So I wanted to get tickets to their hometown show in Newark. And I was at work. I took my lunch break right when tickets were going to go on sale. I was ready. I had everything set up. And then I get in line. I took screenshots. I was so upset. I got in line and it had the queue. You had to join the queue. It's not going to show up on camera. But I joined the queue. You had to get in line for these tickets. So I got in line, and then I got in line. And that second line, I was behind 2,000 plus other people, which, let me turn this down. Can we see it if I make it? There we go. So you can make it. So I was in line, and then I got in line, and then I waited for an hour. I was in this line for an hour. And then I finally got through, and I was just like shocked. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get through. I'm going to get tickets. It's going to be great. I finally got through, and the only, what was I going to say? The only tickets that were available were over $300. And at the time that I first got in, they had tickets, like officially, like the first official tickets from Ticketmaster. There were a couple of resale tickets out there, but it wasn't like terrible, you know? So I got in fairly early, and that happened, and I was like, tickets are only over $300. And I'm like, oh, this is stupid. And then they announced that they were adding another date to Newark. And I was like, oh shit. So I looked through. The only ticket I could find for the first show was like a 1 ticket. And I'm trying to get 2 tickets here for me and my boyfriend. I got the 1 ticket, and it was over $300. I was in the checkout line. I actually had it. And I was like, I don't want to do this by myself. I don't want to spend $300 to go to a concert like by myself. As much as I was dying to see them, I just couldn't. So I go get in line, because you have to get in line again for the other show. So then you get in line again, right? And then, oh my God, I was also in line behind 2,000 other people. I finally get to the front, and the only tickets there, they're totally sold out. So they only have resale tickets. These resale tickets were over $600 for nosebleeds, which is bananas. Like, oh my God. So I did all this work, and then here's the kicker. I finally found a resale ticket, 2 tickets, resale, that I could kind of afford. They were $515 each. My budget for this concert was $500. I couldn't do more than that. And so I got close. I got to the checkout. I got to the $515, and I just couldn't do it. So I am not seeing them in concert, and I definitely teared up a little bit. I teared up just a little bit at my lunch hour at work just because I really wanted those tickets. But you know what? Fingers crossed that the band just stays together and they do another tour. Because it's just the perfect storm. Like, they broke up. This is their first reunion tour, and it was their hometown. Like, I'm very close to their hometown. So trying to get those tickets, it was a pipe dream. But I want to see them at some point again. And I just needed to rant about it because I have no one else I could rant to. Who was it? I was talking to Christina Chang on Instagram because we both wanted tickets. And she was also really upset that she didn't get any and I didn't get any. So it's a shame. But I think it's more of a commentary on the current state of the music industry and the I don't know, I think Ticketmaster, everyone was pissed at Ticketmaster. It was trending. But anyway, so I think it's more of a commentary on the state of the music industry and the touring industry than the actual like band and everything. I don't want to blame the band. The band probably didn't have much to do with it. But I was very disappointed. And I can't wait to finally see them like actually in concert at some point. Like, it'll happen at some point. Amy said those prices are obscene. Yeah, I saw tickets like that were over 1,000 for nosebleeds. It's insane. Insane. Okay, so now that I got my rant about My Chemical Romance out of the way, let's talk about Marlena Stell and Makeup Geek. So, I don't know, I forgot if I mentioned this before, but I took my time and I watched a few other videos. I think Smokey Glow's video on this situation was really well done, and I really agree with everything that she had to say. But I've just lost all respect for Marlena and for Makeup Geek. For someone who does their best to say that they avoid drama at all costs and they don't like drama and blah, 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 she's in drama a lot. And at this point, I mean, before I was willing to give her the benefit of the doubt. Back when she first came out with the Dear Influencers video, of course that's drama. And that's, I mean, some people could say it was a bit shady, but it was drama, but it brought us information like to the community that otherwise we would not have known. And so I was willing to give her the benefit of the doubt there. But now looking back on the video now, like with what I know now, it's different. It's a lot different. And the fact that she went off kind of blaming influencers in that video for the downfall of Makeup Geek sounds very similar now to someone else who just recently was now no longer a part of her brand, but blamed influencers for the downfall of their brand. And it's not a great look. So let's kind of start from the beginning here. From what I'm able to just quickly go over here. If you want an in-depth review of everything that's happened with like screenshots and like Twitter, everything, I will have some videos linked below during the replay. But for now, I am not 100% knowledgeable about everything. I watched a lot of this happen in real time on Twitter, and I went back and rewatched a couple of videos. So the main crux of this story is between Marlena and I believe her name is Tina from The Fancy Faced. There was an issue with her Dear Influencer video. Apparently Tina was in it, and emails between Tina and Marlena was shown on screen, and they exposed her full name. Marlena removed the email, but did not remove her full name. And until then, Tina was very protective about her identity and her full name. She never went by her full name on YouTube. From what I'm able to see, like actually on Twitter and from screenshots, she did reach out to Marlena to try and say, hey, you're basically doxing my name in this video. It needs to be blurred out. Can you just blur it out? Not that nicely. She is a bit abrasive, but I feel like in that situation, I can't blame her. So she reached out, she said that, and she basically ignored Marlena. Come now with the rebrand of Makeup Geek that a lot of people were looking forward to, this all came back up. And I can't 100% vouch for why Tina decided to bring it back up now. Her reasoning, I think she was in a live stream the other day, her reasoning was that now with the rebrand, more people were viewing that video, and her complaint had not been acknowledged or even seen by Marlena. So she decided to, with all this new publicity that was happening, she filed a privacy complaint against the video. A privacy complaint is different from a copyright complaint. And a few people can probably speak more to this, but basically a privacy complaint is my personal information is in this video and I don't want it here. It doesn't take down the video. It basically says, hey, this person said that their name or their something is in this video and they don't want it there. You have this amount of time to basically blur it out or remove it. So she filed that, I think, like the night before all this went down. The next morning, Tina woke up to a copyright strike on one of her videos from almost a year ago talking about Makeup Geek. And she basically had Makeup Geek in just the title, and she talked about drama between her and Marlena and talked about the brand and everything. But there was nothing in the video that could have been the copyright of Makeup Geek. There were no pictures, there were no video, there was no audio, there was nothing to substantiate a copyright claim. But that's what Marlena did. And Tina even showed the screenshots from her email and from her YouTube account that said, yep, copyright strike from Makeup Geek LLC, and then it had Marlena's personal email. So between all of that information, most people assumed that Marlena personally struck the video because there's also a manual review. So someone had to manually go to the video, click the buttons, and report it, essentially. This is where it all goes downhill for Marlena, because when this first happened, I really think she thought the public would be on her side the same way they were with her Dear Influencers video. And while that was messy, I think most public opinion went in her favor. Because of the way she was treated, and I think the way she framed it really well, I think. So when all of that happened, it basically all went in her favor. I think she thought the same thing was going to happen here, or that she thought it would never even come out, like at all. So that's not what happened. Tina was not the person to mess with. So she got this copyright strike and immediately went and started blasting it on Twitter, which I've seen some people like not complain, but criticize the way that she went to Twitter to handle things. And I've not seen a single person in all the videos that I've seen or commentary that I've listened to mention the fact that it's not a bad idea to go to Twitter. Everyone kept saying, oh, handle this privately, like email her, do this, do that. But if Marlena was ignoring her and her emails and anything else were not being acknowledged, Twitter is then honestly the next place to go. I've personally had experiences with brands, with people where, like, if I email and I don't get a response, or if I want something done quickly, if I tweet out about it, I get a response like immediately. People are on it normally when it comes to like Twitter. And so I just wanted to defend the fact that she went to Twitter, because that is a really public, very quick way to get a response. And so all I saw about that were people criticizing her about why did you go to Twitter? Why didn't you handle this privately? If she was being ignored, that's the next best option. She should have gone to Twitter, honestly. And look what happened. Big YouTubers picked it up. People were retweeting it. People were going to Marlena and saying, why aren't you handling this? And that is the point. That's only the time where Marlena finally decided to do it, actually acknowledge that it happened. And that really just starts to show, I think Marlena is really just showing her true colors here. This is just who she's always been. She's just always been good at PR. So now we're seeing this. So she manually claimed this video, which we're going to find out later on in the story. She admitted to manually claiming the video. She admitted to falsely copyright striking a smaller YouTuber because she didn't like the title of the video. And to me, that is really all I needed to hear. And that's not even including how she lied on Twitter and how she originally, when this all blew up and people were tagging her and everything, she originally had to be like, oh, I have to talk to my team. I'm in meetings all day. I can't deal with this right now. Let me consult with my team, which she was trying to put on a front like she didn't have anything to do with this, like it was an intern, you know? But then later on, she admitted to it. So that was all bullshit. Second of all, I don't like the fact, I'm trying to like organize this in my head. I don't like the fact that it took her that long to respond, but of course it was a PR nightmare by that point. So she had to consult with people. I don't know what else she was doing at that time. I think she was trying to push it off because this really wasn't going the way that she thought it would. So after it didn't go the way she thought it would, and things were blowing up in her face, she decides to go into full like excuse mode. So she posts an apology on Twitter and on Instagram, both platforms that Tina is blocked on. Tina is blocked on both platforms. So that wasn't an apology to Tina as much as she would like it to be. It was more of a PR handling of things. But what I really hated is that in her Instagram live where she was talking about it, she mentions two things that I'm really pissed about. So I'm about to go off. The first is that she's like, oh, I don't know how the copyright system works. I didn't know her video was going to get taken down immediately. I don't know how this, she's playing dumb. She's playing dumb, and it's not a good look because half of her identity is I've been on YouTube for so long. I know this, I know that. I'm an OG, blah, 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 blah. If that is true, which it is, she's been on YouTube a long time, you would know. You would know. I'm a tiny, microscopic YouTuber, and I know how the copyright system works. So the fact that she's trying to claim that she had no idea what would happen is preposterous. It's ridiculous. On top of that, someone showed a screenshot of what the takedown notice, which is what it is a takedown notice. When you're filling out the form to submit this to YouTube, in big, bold letters, it says takedown notice, and that the video will be immediately taken down. So she's either lying or she can't read. She's lying. Guys, allegedly. Please don't sue me, because apparently they like to come after smaller YouTubers. Allegedly, she's lying. So that's the first thing that really got me off. It's like, you can't claim ignorance here. Everyone on YouTube knows this. Everyone. The next thing that really got me like pissed off was when that didn't work, when that excuse wasn't working, she decided to go and blame her pregnancy. She said oh, I'm just very emotional. I did this out of emotion. I'm pregnant. I've got blah, blah, blah. No. You know how many people are 8-9 months pregnant and they don't do the stupid illegal shit online? A lot of them. A lot of them. So just watching all of this happen in real time, my respect for Marlena went from a mid-range, but it's in the trash. It is just gone. It is shot. So let me take a hot break and look at the chat because I missed a few things. All right, let's see. Hi, Erin. It's nice to have you here. Hello to everyone who joined since I started ranting. Amy said, why should she have to do it privately? And then Cassandra said she tried privately. It didn't work, so I agree. Twitter was the next step. Exactly. And that's not even just with these kind of things. In retail, I emailed back, I think, about an order that went wrong with a makeup company, and they didn't respond right away. So I tweeted at them, and I immediately got a response. That's just what happens. That's the current way things are. So I agree 100%. That was the next step. Yeah, exactly. So Amy said, way to bring all women down with that crap. Yeah, she's literally just reaching for any straw at this point. She's looking for any excuse because she needs to be perpetually in the victim position for this to work out in her favor. And it's not. Everyone's still calling her out. Hi, Gail. Gail said, hi, glad I caught you. Hello. Should I start ranting again? Okay, so those are the main things. Personally, for me, the story, like, I was no longer supporting or happy with Marlena the minute she admitted to filing a false copyright claim because of the title. And that she didn't admit that in her Instagram live. She said that she filed a copyright claim because she didn't like the fact that Tina used Makeup Geek in the title of her video. And her excuse was that it's a copyrighted term, Makeup Geek. That's bullshit on several fronts. You can't copyright a name. You can trademark it, I believe. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know everything. But a few Google searches would do her well. And she's got lawyers on hand. What? She doesn't... Oh, okay. Anyway. You can't copyright a name. And even then, like, it's just the title. There was no pictures. There was no video. There was nothing. So what is she going to do? Copyright strike anyone who uses Makeup Geek in the title? Is she going to copyright every person who gives her a good review that says Makeup Geek Shadows in the title because she doesn't like it being in the title? No. What she's going to do is copyright strike anyone that doesn't kiss her ass. That's what she's going to do. And something that immediately even pissed me off further was someone else on Twitter came out and said that they also recently, within the last, I want to say week, I'm going to try and pull it up, also got copyright claimed by Makeup Geek in the same kind of manner. And she's also a smaller YouTuber and also didn't have the best things to say about it. But something else, and I feel like not a lot of people are mentioning this, but Tina is not white. And the other person who got copyright struck was not white. So is this a pattern that's happening? Is it just against anyone who doesn't have a favorable opinion of the new Makeup Geek or whatever? I mean, I think these are questions that need to be asked, considering the fact that she's now shown herself to be a lying, manipulative snake in the grass. And to this time, at this point, as far as I can tell, the copyright strike, even though she admitted it was a false copyright strike, has not been removed from Tina's channel. Tina actually got served, on top of all of this, with a cease and desist the other day. Yes, she got served with a cease and this was after Marlena's apology on Twitter and on Instagram and how she said she was going to remove the strike and everything. The strike is still there, and she sent a cease and desist to Tina. This is some bullshit on the highest degree. And as a smaller YouTuber, as a person, as a person, this is bullshit. And it should not be tolerated. It should not. Okay, let's see. Let me go back to the chat. Amy said, yep, I'm done with her. Yes, it can be trademarked. Okay, yeah, so you can trademark a name, but you cannot copyright a name. You can only copyright images or video or like audio. Kelly said, I didn't know bigger YouTubers could do that to smaller YouTubers. That's messed up. Yes. So that's a big thing. Everyone's been complaining about the copyright system on YouTube, and I can understand it because YouTube is only going to do what YouTube needs to do to save their own ass. And to save their own ass, if anyone says, oh, I own this copyright, they're going to immediately take the video down because they don't want to get sued. They don't want to be in the middle of anything. So I can understand it from YouTube's point of view why this is the system that is in place. But it puts way too much power in the hands of whoever even claims they have the copyright. So I could, like, if I'm a terrible person, I could go to someone's video, copyright claim it, and say, like, oh, I own the copyright to this content. And the only way that it would ever be, like, put out there that it wasn't right is if they took me to court. There's literally no other way. YouTube will not get involved. YouTube won't do anything. Like, you literally, after someone copyright claims you and either takes the video down or steals your revenue from it, your only recourse is to literally sue them, or they sue you. So when we see bigger YouTubers doing this as a scare tactic to scare smaller YouTubers that don't kiss their ass, I think we have an obligation to do something about it. It's bullshit. Oh, Kaylee's here. Hi, Kaylee. Amy said, yeah, some big YouTubers use it to silence smaller channels. Onision is really bad about this. Yeah. Yeah, terrible. I've actually been watching Repsion's videos about that whole situation. That's a whole nother can of worms, but similar in the copyright area. You're right. Oh, Amy said, I dared Marlena to do it to me in my live the other night. No copyright strike. That was actually, that made me think. Like, when I created the title of this live stream, I was like, if I put Makeup Geek in here, am I going to get a cease and desist? That's not something I should have to worry about. Like, if I'm just giving, like, my opinion. It's bullshit. So, that's basically the gist of the story. Again, I'm going to have links to videos that better explain everything with like screenshots and stuff. But because of that, I was going to say this in a nice way, but Marlena is dead to me. That's some bullshit. Not only, like, if it would have been one thing if she had copyright struck Tina, came through, and then like admitted her fault and be like, oh yeah, it's my fault. I reacted emotionally. I should not have done it. Yeah, I'll remove it now. No. She looked up every excuse she could find. She basically just did literally everything wrong. Like, I don't know what PR book she's reading from, but it was horrible. And I don't want to buy from Makeup Geek. I don't want to support Marlena. I don't want to support this foolishness. And that's the theme of this year. Like, from my Pan That Palette to my using up problematic shit was I don't want to support toxic people. And at this point in time, Marlena is toxic. So yeah, I'm not going to buy Makeup Geek. I've got a few items here. I'm glad I didn't buy the eyeshadows from the rebrand. So... all right, let's see. Chat. Kelly said, so Marlena is racist? I mean, honestly, okay, so allegedly, don't sue me, Marlena. Don't send me a cease and desist. The only people so far that have had issues with Marlena, I think Big Beef, other than like James Charles and like Jaclyn Hill, maybe, they've all been people of color. And the only two people that are confirmed to have copyright strikes from Makeup Geek are smaller channels of color. So do with that what you will. I just think it's something that needs to be said and thought about because no one else is really pointing that out yet. Except for on Twitter. I think someone else mentioned on Twitter that that's something there. So, allegedly, don't sue me. Let's see. Diana said, big brands need to be held accountable for their actions as well as the little guys. Yeah, keep the same energy. That's the theme. Like, I know people who used to love Marlena are now coming out and keeping the same energy with her. I think that's great. I think if anyone does anything that is so shitty, they need to be held accountable. And I don't like the term canceled because there's a whole history with that. But yeah, just hold people accountable. That's not really too much to ask. Gail said, until this, I actually wanted to try my shadows. Yeah. I actually wanted to buy from the rebrand. I wanted to support the company and support Marlena. That's down the drain. Cassandra said, I don't know. She apparently called Tina loud. Well, like I said, I think it's something that needs to be pointed out. It needs to be mentioned because that's one hell of a pattern. Oh, Victoria. Hi, Victoria. Oh, she's here. She said, it's so sad. Honestly, I never even knew who she was until the video last year, and then I felt bad for her now. It's just like she's looking for drama, and drama sells. Exactly, Victoria. Like, I think that it was very calculated and manipulative when she came out with the Dear Influencers video. And even though it was stirring drama and everything, there was information there that had never been released to the public. And so I think people latched onto that, and eventually, like, honestly, I think they latched onto it, especially because it was tearing down Jaclyn Hill, who was already problematic at the time. Not as problematic as she is now because other shit has happened since then. But still, I think it was easier to jump on that bandwagon, and everyone did feel bad for her. Let's see. Okay, so Gail said, but look at the drama around KVD. That boycott worked. Yes. So that's actually my next point that I'm going to be talking about is the whole rebrand around KVD and about how she talked about influencers. And so we're going to get to that. But yes, that is a very good point. And so I really do think we need to like keep that energy, keep that momentum, and stop supporting problematic shit. And I know we can't be 100% perfect all the time. I know that. But when it comes to things like this, where it's blatantly put out there and you see the evidence, and it's fairly simple for most of us to just no longer support them, I think we need to follow through. I think I'm at a point of privilege where I can say, I'm not going to support her. I'm not going to do that. Like, it's easy. I mean, not easy, but it's easy for someone in my position to do that, and I want to do that. Let's see. Amy said, I'm done. She's canceled to me. I have to agree. I don't want to support that shit. Cassandra said, personally, those eyeshadows are too expensive, and to do this after, nah, it's not really worth trying. Makeup Geek, in my opinion. I have to agree. I know there was a little bit of drama that happened, like back when she first released these new shadows, because they were pricey. Like the full palette she was releasing, I didn't look into them because I didn't want the full palette. Apparently they were over $200. In what realm, in what universe are Makeup Geek shadows as expensive as like Natasha Denona? I'm not saying that Natasha Denona is 100% worth the price, but I am saying 100% that Makeup Geek should not be charging what Natasha Denona is charging. Amy said, I didn't know she called Tina loud. Just keep digging that hole, Marlena. And that seems to be a theme. She seems to, as this keeps going on, just keeps digging her own grave further and further. Victoria said, yeah, it did, but I still know many people that still bought Kat Von D but hid it because they didn't want the hate. That's an interesting point. I could do a whole probably video about something that kind of fascinates me are like the YouTubers that do their best to separate the people from the makeup. But like, I don't know, I tried to believe in that just for my own selfish reasons, if I'm being honest, because I wanted the makeup, but I wanted the separation between me and the person, like Kat Von D or Jeffree Star. But I really don't think you can really separate the person from the makeup, especially if they're named after their makeup brand, like Jeffree Star, like Kat Von D, you know? So, I don't know. What do you guys think? How do you feel about people that specifically say, like, before each Jeffree Star review, like, this is about the makeup, not the person? Do you think that you can actually fully remove the makeup from the person? Because I didn't. And I had to keep the same energy and, like, keep staying true to what I thought. And if I couldn't support Jaclyn Hill because of what she's done in Buyer makeup, if I couldn't support Kat Von D, then I had to do the same for Jeffree Star, and I had to do the same for Makeup Geek, and I had to do the same for all of it. I couldn't just pick and choose anymore. And while I'm not saying I'm 100% perfect, I don't know everything about every brand I've ever used, but when stuff like this is brought to my attention and I see it happen, and I'll do my best to not support those kinds of people. Amy said, I understand why they would want to do that. I just can't do it myself. That's a good point. I guess I can see, like, if you've got a bigger channel, like someone I know who does this is Taylor Wynn, formerly known as the Taylor. She's been very like unproblematic. I mean, honestly, she's my favorite YouTuber. I love her, but she still uses Kat Von D. She still uses some other stuff, and I think she said she doesn't like Jeffree Star. I've never seen her use Jeffree Star products, but for the most part, no matter what happens, she tends to just be very professional and remove the makeup from the person. But like Amy said, I couldn't do it. Kelly said Natasha is expensive, crazy too. Yep. One of my literal biggest makeup regret was buying one of her big palettes because it was not worth the money. Cassandra said, I heard the loud comment from Spooky Lips and Fat Hips live, but yeah, like she's not being loud. She's been trying to get her name removed from a video that shouldn't be there. 100% exactly. Like, going onto Twitter to try and get something resolved, that's not messy, it's not loud, it's effective. And like I mentioned before, like I've personally had experiences where I email a brand or a person, don't get a response. I go onto Twitter and I have a response within an hour. That's just how it is in this day and age. Like, and the fact that they're specifically trying to discredit her by calling her loud, by calling her messy, by saying Twitter's not the place to do this, I think you need to take a closer look at who's saying that. Just really. Day Explains It All is here. Hello. Glad you're able to join. I'm actually so happy that all of you guys are here. I know it's like a busy Sunday and it's like a random time, but I really just wanted to get all this out there. Amy said, Too Faced saved themselves for me by firing Lisa. I was just about done with them. So that brings up an interesting point. Do you think they actually fired her? I mean, I don't know how they could prove this. And also, why would they fire her? Do you think it was like Estee Lauder coming down and saying, get rid of her, or like, you're screwed? Or was it like Jared finally saying, I've had enough? Or like, it's a bit messy. But for me, I didn't want to support that either. So I'm not buying Too Faced. It's a messy year. Can you believe it? It's literally just like the beginning of February and all of this foolishness has already happened. So much foolishness. That's a good point. So Joanna said, if I see something I don't vibe with, I just take 3 steps back and look for companies that I feel better with. Yeah. That's an excellent point. And like, I feel like, so all of us in the beauty community, like we tend to like complain that there's so many makeup brands, so many choices and so many products. But then like when this messiness happens, some people don't want to like give up their favorite products and everything, but there's so many brands. There's so many options. We should not be starved for choice here. We really shouldn't. There's so many options. Like if one brand and one person's doing something shitty, let capitalism do its thing and push them out. Like there are other choices. There are other brands. There's always another product. Amy said, oh yes, Estee Lauder came down in my opinion. Yeah, honestly, I think if she actually was fired, I do think it was a directive from Estee Lauder. Day said, it's disappointing that Marlena set a dangerous precedent for brand to single out creators that use brand names in titles. Those creators that may have negative reviews about a product. I 100% agree. Like, just like the Marlena and Makeup Geek was done for me when she admitted to doing a false copyright claim. That is the dirtiest, the lowest of the low. That's not, in no way, shape, or form is that excusable or acceptable. And the fact that she's specifically targeting smaller channels, it's not right. And she should be held accountable for that. Diana said, what about Too Faced? So done with them too. Yep. Done with Too Faced. So can we talk about, so it's been, I mean, what, a month in 2020? Too Faced has done some foolishness. Makeup Geek has done some foolishness. Let's go into the Kat Von D thing. It's technically not called Kat Von D, so it's going to be KVD. And I want to look this up because they rebranded their name. And I do think it is like the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It says, did anyone follow on Twitter or Instagram what their new acronym stands for? So let's talk about Kat Von D. I stopped buying the minute I heard about the anti-vax stuff. And then after that, I found out about the rest of her history. Like, I had no idea. And I feel like for a lot of people, they had no idea about like her anti-Semitic past, about her husband having a swastika tattooed on him. I don't think that was common knowledge at the time. I really don't think so. And from my experience and from what I learned through that, I was shocked. And because for me, I only knew her through like the tattoo show. I didn't even watch the show. I just knew that she did tattoos. That was it. And then she came out with makeup, and it was like kind of my aesthetic. Like I like dark, grungy things. I have skulls all around my room. I love that aesthetic, and so seeing the brand, I was kind of drawn to it. So it wasn't until the anti-vax statements came out that the rest of the stuff, it was kind of a gateway to the rest of her past. And so, yes, she should have been held accountable long before. But I'm glad the anti-vax stuff happened because then more people got on board. I really don't appreciate people gatekeeping that kind of information. Like people who said, like, you should have not supported her long before this because XYZ. I feel like you have to give the everyday lay people like the benefit of the doubt, like, because I had no idea about the past. And yeah, So I just want to put that out there. So it's unrealistic to expect everyone to know everything about every brand. But when something comes out that releases all this information, that brings this to the forefront, I think it should be acknowledged. It shouldn't just be brushed off because you should have known this beforehand. I think that's kind of bullshit. Victoria said, I'm guilty of still supporting Jeffree Star since I still buy, and I totally admit that. So that's something. I mean, at least you admit it. There are people who won't admit anything or will try to bounce around and say, he's not racist, he's not this, he's not that. Amy said, I think they'll change the name once they've used up the old packaging. So that reminds me, I was on the Instagram page. I was trying to find the actual infographic. Ooh, this is so, it's actually kind of funny. Excuse me while I look this up. Let's see. KVD. Okay, I found it. So, well, before we get into this, actually, Victoria said, yes, remember last year when the woman put Marlena on blast for only paying $100 and never giving her the acknowledgement she needed? I vaguely remember that. I think it was someone who, they used their picture on the website and didn't ask her permission or anything. And it was messy, but I think most people, like myself, overlooked it because of the influencer video and kind of the narrative she had built, which that says something. We need to, really dig deeper into these situations and not just kind of gloss over them because someone happened to do something decent in the past. Okay, so KVD is now KVD Vegan Beauty. So now just to so the KVD in our new name stands for our ethos and new manifesto. It does not stand for a person's initials. We believe in kindness, vegan beauty, and discovery and doing good. So their name is now Kindness, Vegan Beauty, and Discovery and Doing Good Vegan Beauty. That's the full name. What kills me is that there is someone in a boardroom that makes 8 times what I make in a year who came up with this foolishness and got paid for it. Some marketing executive was like, oh, that's great. Let's do that. Oh my god, that was literally I laughed out loud when I first saw that. That's literally the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So stupid. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on the chat. A lot happened when I was ranting. They could use the same font and go with Kendo Vegan Beauty. Amy, that is genius. See how easy is it to come up with something different? And like I said, some marketing executive that makes 6 figures came up with this and it's so stupid. It's so stupid. But Amy, Kendo Vegan Beauty is awesome. It should have been that. You're right, Gail. The new name is ridiculous. It's so stupid. So when you have a public platform, you shouldn't be spreading misinformation. Yeah. Honestly, the entire anti-vax movement is just a public misinformation spread. It's kind of crazy that it's gotten to this point. There's science, and I'm not intelligent or well-educated enough on the topic to speak eloquently about why vaccines are the way that they are, but holy shit, I could do a whole rant about anti-vaccines, but let's not jump into that right now. Get vaccinated, please. Amy said, I'll take my check now. Get those royalties. Get that approved and get those royalties. Whew. Let's see. Did I have any other notes here? Oh, the only other thing I wanted to talk about was how Kat Von D did that interview and talked about how influencers are the reason why she lost her brand and the reason why her brand failed. I haven't actually read the full interview. I read part of it on, was it Yahoo News? Is Yahoo News still a thing? I didn't know that. Let's see. I gotta pull up the Reddit page because I didn't have any. I should have bookmarked this if I was going to be a bit more prepared, but I wasn't. Oh, I found the other person who was copyright claimed by Makeup Geek, Wiggy Smalls. That's the only other person who's gotten a copyright claim from Makeup Geek. Throwing that out there. So where is... Oh, found it. Okay. So it was Mariah Leonard, who I don't follow her as closely. I know a lot of people love her. I haven't looked into her channel, but Mariah Leonard posted. Oof. I've been talking for a while. Posted the article, and it's Kat Von D says she lost her place in the beauty industry because of influencers. And Mariah said she's correct. A lot of us in the beauty industry won't give you a place when you do things like name a product a slur. Black woman hold concealer in front of a cotton field and say it'll do the work for you, etc., etc. Yeah. So I think it's funny that you're seeing these women who are doing problematic shit and their first, or not their first, maybe one of their first lines of defense or excuses is it's the influencer's fault. It's the beauty community's fault. Yeah. I just think, I mean, allegedly, don't come for me, don't sue me, don't send me a cease and desist. But Marlena and Kat Von D are sounding fairly similar now, aren't they? I'm not saying they're on the same level of, I guess, badness, but their excuses are sounding kind of similar right about now. Amy said excuses. Influencers only called her out on her crap. Exactly. Because we're the only people that aren't, no, I say we like I'm part of it, but like influencers were the only people that were willing to like take a stand against it. Kelly said she needs to stop. She does. Everyone just needs to stop. Man. Oh, whoa, the chat just went really fast. Okay. Victoria said I vaccinate my... Whoa, I lost it. Okay. Victoria said there was an article that came out saying vaccines cause autism. Turns out it was a lie, but people still believe that. The researcher lied about information. It was caught. Yeah, that was a fake study, and they had to admit. I think they got sued. Amy said it's our fault that they're terrible. I think we definitely play a part in. I mean, in the influencer sphere. I think a lot of people like watching mess. That's why, isn't that why reality TV is a big thing? Like people like watching train wrecks. And so we are part of the reason why these really problematic train wreck people are popular and successful, like Tana Moja. Ooh. Gail said, what got me with KVD was her video a couple of months into the drama. It put the nail in the coffin with blaming everyone else, not taking any responsibility. I don't know exactly what video that is, Gail. I'll have to look into that. Does she still have her YouTube channel up? I don't know. All right. So I think that was everything that I kind of wanted to talk about at least for this edition of the Bochinche Chat. Let's see. Who else is in the chat? Hi, Atakan. Is that how you pronounce it? Atakan. A-T-A-K-A. Okay. Oof. I apparently don't know letters right now. Been talking for a bit. Victoria said, well, wait, Laura Lee, I was invested in, and after that thing, I never watched or bought anything. Yeah, I mean, it is, I feel like, how do I best want to phrase this? I think the best that we can do is ingest the information and do what we can in our daily lives to at least be better than we were before. We can't expect ourselves to be perfect. No one is ever going to be perfect, but especially what I want to do this year is just really take a look at where I'm putting my energy, who I'm supporting, and even though I have a really small platform, I feel the responsibility too that I could influence people. And I do have a platform, however small it may be. And so I want to be more responsible in what I am putting out on that platform. And if I, at a tiny little microscopic YouTuber position, can acknowledge that and recognize that, there's not a damn reason why anyone else who's got a bigger platform can't also recognize that. They're either willfully ignorant, or they're lying, or they just don't care. And I did not want to be like that. I didn't. Kelly said Laura Lee products are being sold at Marshall's. You gotta liquidate that stock. Day said, it's impossible to separate the private life from your public persona as a celebrity because you are endorsing your behavior and modeling it for your fan base. Regardless of whether or not you mean to, people are looking up to you. People need to own up and stop saying oopsie. I agree. You know what this reminds me of too? Is like, is anyone an older sibling? Like, whether or not you want it to be, as an older sibling, you're a role model. Your siblings are looking up to you. Even more so if you're a parent. Like, your kids are looking up to you. And all you can really do is be the best in your day-to-day life. You never want to be the person that says, do as I say, not as I do. Right? You want to model the best behavior. And it's incredibly selfish for people who have this position, people who have this like authority, not even authority, but influence over other people, to ignore all of that and say, well, I want to do this, I want to do that, screw anyone else. That's not being a good citizen. That's not being a good person. And it would be one thing if they admitted, I'm not a good person, I don't care. I think, is that what Tana is? Like, she really doesn't give a shit and has admitted that. But like with Jeffree Star, with other people who try to be like, oh, I'm a better person, I'm a good person, but you're not acting like one. That's the issue. And it is a decent amount of pressure if you're in a position like that, but it's the least we can do. The least we can do is do our best to make the world a little bit better than it was before. Danielle is in. Hi, Danielle. Danielle's the oldest. Yeah, I'm the oldest, so I have one younger brother, a full brother. I have two younger stepsisters, and then I have one younger half-sister. So I'm the oldest of... and then I have a half-brother. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm the oldest of 6. So I've always kind of been in that position, and I've always taken position of... not power, of like leadership. I've always wanted to do like more mentoring and like things like that. So I'm kind of used to being in that sort of position. Amy said, I hated being told that I had to set an example. I hated that when I was a kid too, but I could see why. Like, I mean, now looking back, yeah, I could definitely see why, but it's part of life. Kelly is the third oldest out of 8 siblings. Wow, that's a lot. My aunt, so my grandma's brother's wife, so like my great aunt, I don't know, she's one of 12. I don't know where in the order she is, but 12 is a lot. Amy's the oldest of 3. So many people have siblings. That's great. Danielle said, I'm my mom's only child, but I have 2 half-brothers and 1 half-sister. Yeah, blended families. Like I said, I've got a full brother, I've got 2 half-siblings, and then I've got 2 step-siblings. Okay, so I think we're gonna leave the chat there. I think I got everything out that I wanted to say, so I don't have to talk about this in the BWOW. The BWOW can be mostly new products, so I can reference back to this. I want to do more live streams. I hope that the quality and everything of this was a bit better than in previous years, and in previous live streams. So I hope I can do these a bit more often like this. Oh, Danielle. Danielle said, I'm a recovering addict, 7 years sober. Congrats on 7 years sober. I'm very proud of you. She said, now my little sister is getting into drugs, and her excuse is Danielle did it and she lived. I try to scare her with my horror stories. That's rough. That's kind of what you get into when you try to do it's do as I say, not as I do. But hopefully you can still live through as an example and say, like, well, I'm sober. I wish I hadn't gone into that because I had to do XYZ. I wish the best for your little sister, Danielle. And actually, a channel I've really gotten into, she is a recovering addict. What is her name? Oh my god. I love watching her YouTube. She's like a prison YouTuber. I don't know how I found her channel, but I really liked it. It's like the Ride or Die. I'm gonna find it before I finish this. Where is it? This channel? Man, I'm like subscribed to so many channels now that it's kind of hard to find one if I can't figure out the name on the tip of my tongue. But she came out with a video the day before yesterday, so I'm gonna scroll and I'm gonna find it. Yeah, enjoy my hold music. Found it. Jessica Kent. I've been following Jessica Kent. She was an addict for a while, and then she went to prison, and she actually had a child in prison and got out and has been getting her life straight. And she just talks about her past and how she worked to make her life better and how she's trying to do better. So, Danielle, if you're not watching Jessica Kent, I would 100% recommend because I love her channel and I love everything that she has to say. She's just so insightful. And I really think that is such a prime example of what you can do with your life and with your platform. It's just do your best to help out and set a better example for others. All right. So thank you everyone for joining. I know this is Super Bowl Sunday. If you have a team in the Super Bowl, I hope they all have fun. I have no horse in the race because the Giants are not doing great this year. And my boy retired. Oh, my boy. Eli Manning. I love Eli. So thank you all. I had so much fun. I'm going to be doing these more often, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video, which is actually, I've got my Pin That Palette update coming up at 5 p.m. EST, so in like 2.5 hours, that'll be up, and then normal. Thank you guys. I love talking to all of you, and I hope you have an awesome Sunday. Bye.